This is the African News, a broadcast from Canada. My name is Sandra Asante. Headlines. Ethiopia's Amhara region vows new attacks on Tigray. South Africa's military calls up army reserves. Government to deploy 25,000 troops after unrest. Kenyan man confesses to killing at least 10 children. Details of these stories coming up after the break. Stay tuned. You're welcome back from the break. Your first story. The authorities in Ethiopia's Amhara region said they will go on an offensive against forces from neighboring Tigray. The Tigrayan forces have recaptured much of Tigray in recent weeks, with federal forces and their allies withdrawing from key areas. A spokesman for the Amhara regional government said patience had run out. As of today, he said, we have opened an offensive. Retired members of the security forces have been called up and volunteer militias asked to mobilize. Tigrayan forces are pushing towards territory seized by the Amhara earlier in a civil war. Both groups see it as rightfully theirs. With passion so high, this could lead to a new and even more bloody phase of the conflict. Ethiopia was previously the most stable country in the Horn of Africa and a key ally of the West in the war on terror. Now it risks not only tearing itself apart, but increasing instability across one of the most fragile corners of the continent. Our next story is in South Africa, and the South African government plans to deploy 25,000 troops after days of widespread looting and violence. Some 72 people have died and over 1,700 have been arrested since the jailing of former President Jacob Zuma sparked the country's worst unrest in years. Hundreds of shops and businesses have been looted, and the government says it is acting to prevent food shortages. Citizens are arming themselves and forming vigilante groups to protect their property from the rampage. Some 208 incidents of looting and vandalism were recorded on Wednesday, the government said, as the number of troops deployed doubled to 5,000. But Defense Minister Nosiviwe Mapisa-Nyakula said she has submitted a request for the deployment of 25,000 soldiers to the two provinces hit by the violence: KwaZulu-Natal, where Durban is located, and Gauteng, which includes Johannesburg. Still on the looting issue, the military forces in South Africa have called up all members of the army reserves and ordered them to report to their units amid the ongoing unrest in the country. The South African National Defense Force said the reserves army members were to report for duty at first light on Thursday morning. The members are to report ready with their necessary equipment, the statement added. It came as the government announces an increase in its deployed of troops to 25,000, 10 times more than originally proposed to help quell the violence. Soldiers were first deployed on Monday to help police who have been overstretched since the unrest began. Last week, President Ramaphosa has been accused of being too slow to send them in, with only 2,500 troops initially compared to the 70,000 deployed to enforce a nationwide lockdown to curb the spread of coronavirus last year. Protests, which began last week after former President Jacob Zuma handed himself to police to serve a 15-month sentence for contempt of court, have descended into violence and looting, which at least killed 72 people. Our last story is in Kenya, and a man's chilling confession to killing at least 10 children has topped Kenyan newspaper headlines. Mestin Milimo Wajala, 20, was arrested Wednesday after investigations into recent killings of 2 children. The children's bodies were found dumped in Kabete area near the capital, Nairobi. Wanjala confessed to killing the 2 children and 9 others aged between 12 and 13 years and detailed his crime scenes to investigators. Police are following leads to recover the bodies of the other children. The killing of one of the children named in the confession sparked protests in Wukukuwa area in the western Kenya. Residents torched the house of a person they suspected had killed the boy. The suspect will now be charged for all murders. Thank you so much for tuning in for today's African News. My name is Sancho Asante. Thank you for watching.